you for staying with us. And if you have just joined us, you're watching SA Decides, brought to you by ANN7. We're coming to you once again from the Western Cape. The battle for George municipality is on. The gloves are off, and the first half of the debate, I had my panelists with me that were answering questions that we had from the people from the Western Cape. It's time to go to the floor now. I have an audience with me, members from different political parties. They will be posing their questions to my panelists. Where do we start? We'll start with you, sir. Please stand up and identify yourself and your question.
My name is Solomon Mkhutuli, ANC member. My question to the ANC: what is the ANC's view of selling of land in George, of Glenwood Golf Course and other lands around here, meanwhile our people are homeless?
Thank you, sir. I'll ask you to note that question while we get two more questions from the floor before we get my panelists to respond to the questions.
Good afternoon, Marlene Viljoen, and my question goes to our DA mayoral candidate, Melvin Naik. Over the last few years, we've seen a huge in-migration of particularly highly skilled people into George, as well as from the Eastern Cape. And I would like to know what he attributes that in-migration to, because we are really seeing that George is bursting out of the seams as new residents are moving in, particularly from Gauteng, sometimes being very highly skilled. So there's a reason for it, and I'd like to know what is George doing right to justify this huge in-migration of people. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for that question, ma'am.
Hi, my naam is Nadia. Ek is 'n lid van die Causa en my vraag is vir meneer Naik, vir mense van die DA, is dat na meer as 15 jaar van regeer hier in George, wil ek net weet, julle ou beloftes het hulle nog nie nagekom nie. Daar's mense wat nou nog sonder behuising sit, daar's nou nog dinge wat nie reg is nie. Hoe kan julle dan sonder skaamte weer kom en vir die mense vra, stem weer vir ons, terwyl julle maak nou weer nuwe beloftes? Hoe moet die mense weer in julle vertrou? Dit is wat ek vra. Wat gaan julle doen dat die mense weer in julle kan vertrou?
As the ANC, most especially the portion of land which have been mentioned here, which is the Glenwood Golf Course. We are against it first because we believe that we cannot sell land always in George, because that, as the ANC is saying, sport should be advanced, should be encouraged. But the DA's intention, this item had served in council and it was withdrawn, because we have been fighting that we cannot sell that Glenwood land to Glenwood School. If you are well versed with the prices of land in George, they are sky high. And it's only those who are well off who can afford buying land in George. So at the end of the day, the younger generation won't have anything in future. So it's high time we have a summit where we plan properly which land should be sold, which land should be put aside for the future generation.
Right, and the issue of land is a topical issue in the country at the moment.
It's a sensitive.
Yes, it's a very sensitive issue.
We cannot go right and left and selling land. But the DAF already promised people that we will sell, just after the 3rd of August, we will sell this land to you.
Well, thank you for that response. Councillor Naik, there are a couple of questions for you as well. You may respond now.
I'm going to respond to the question as far as why are there so much in-migration to George.
Yes.
I think I've stated it earlier that people are moving to places where they can get the services that they need. And this is one reason why you see such a lot of in-migration into George. I have two examples that I can talk about personally. Last year, I was at the train station down here where the Intercape buses are stopping. Off that bus came a lady from the Eastern Cape. She was pregnant. And she had a little child with her. And she was standing there, stranded. And I asked her, listen, can I help you? You know what she told me? She's looking for the hospital. She come to George to get the services here.
Right.
And that gives you an indication of what is happening. There's a lot of taxis. There's a lot of taxis that is, you can look after the school, the holidays now. How many taxis will come back to George to the educational facilities that we have currently within George. If I can respond to the question
Yes, please.
earlier with regards to why do people still have to vote for the DA? I think people currently know what they are getting, and they can all only. And I'm not even going to respond to my fellow political parties because there's no track record currently that we can vouch on. But we can only better on what we currently have.
Right.
And this is why we are encouraging people to vote for the DA.
And perhaps you could also respond, Councillor Naik, to the issue of land that was raised. Why is it necessary for this land to be sold? As we alluded to earlier, you know, the issue of land is a very sensitive and topical issue in our country at the moment.
You see, land, as you said, it is very sensitive at this stage. And as an organization and as a municipality, we can't just go recklessly and try to talk about land, because this is an asset to the municipality if we look at long term where we really would like to go. So we have to sit around the table and see what is the best situation we can get out of it as far as to generate income. And this is why we have to put all our minds together and see what will be the best opportunity for the whole of George, and what will be beneficial. Because if you sell land, you really will have to use that capital raised on that side to cover other costs and other gaps within the municipality.
All right, well, thank you for your response. Let's get a couple of more questions from the audience. Yes, ma'am.
Goedemiddag, mijn naam is Erika Treernet. Ik is van George en ik staan voor die ACDP. Mijn vraag, ja, van Pakkelsdorp, George. Mijn vraag aan die DA vanmiddag is die volgende. Waarom kan daar nie werk geskep word vir onze mense daar buiten nie? Onze jong mense sit met 'n maatskaplike probleem. Onze kinders wat uit die skool uitgaan, gee hulle oor aan tik. Onze kinders moet steel om aan die lewe te bly. Waarom kan daar nie vir ons kinders werk geskep word nie?
Thank you. Let's get, from the back, a couple of more questions as well.
Ek is Elise Willemse van die PBI. Ek het 'n vraag aan ons president. Wat gaan die plaaslike besorgde inwoners doen as hulle in die munisipaliteit regeer? Wat gaan ons doen om ons jeug se lewensgehalte te verbeter, werkskepping? Wat gaan ons doen vir ons ou mense?
Thank you, ma'am. Let's get a question from the gentleman there.
My question is this. How come is it that in the ANC and the ICOSA alliance towns, the service delivery levels are so bad that the town has already gone bankrupt, firstly. And secondly, the biggest minority in the world is individuals. And the DA has a representation of all races and colors. I do not see the same with the others. Why don't you represent everybody?
Okay, thank you for your question, sir.
Mijn vraag is aan die DA. Mijn naam is Hamani, ik blij in Blanco. Elke keer wanneer het verkiezingstijd is, dan maakt die DA aan die gemeenschap een belofte. Ons gaan vir julle huise bou. En Mr. Naik het dit nou pas beklemtoon. Die municipaliteit het nie geld, hulle kry hulle geld van die nasionale regering. So ek kan nie verstaan. Hoe kan jy vir mense beloof, jy gaan vir hulle huise bou, en aan die ander kant sê jy het nie geld om huise te bou?
Okay. Well, that's a very elaborate question. I'll have to come back to my panelists now. I'll start with the COSA. Mr. Adams.
God het die waarheid lief, altyd. Jy verstaan? En wat die DA doen, hulle het 'n neiging is mense die waarheid van wat hulle praat, wat hulle verkeerd doen. Dan sê die DA vir die mense dit is sleg praat. Die DA leer ons mense dat jy moenie teen die DA sleg praat nie, of jy moenie die waarheid van die DA praat nie. Net soos ons ingekom het na hierdie saal toe vanmiddag, was daar DA members besig in die wards, besig om ander partye se manifesto papiere op te skeer. Wat dit wil sê is dat die DA's wil hier sit. Hulle is nervous oor hulle weet dat hulle 37%, hy gaan in elk geval nog daal. Want wat Sean moet onthou is dat die DA, as hulle verkeer doen, moet die verkeerde goed wat hulle doen, moet uitgespreek word teen. Ons kan nie aanhoudend op 'n gesonde wond 'n plaaster sit nie. As jy verkeerd doen, doen jy verkeerd. In die laaste jaar was daar amper meer as 6 DA-raadslede was aangekla gewees vir korrupsie. Die burgemeester homself, die staande burgemeester homself, is besig om ontslae te raak omdat hy poor performance het. So wat sê dit vir jou? Dit sê dat die DA nie diens lewer nie en dat dit tyd is vir verandering. Dit is tyd dat ons mense moet opstaan. Dit is tyd vir saamstaan. Dit is tyd dat die DA moet gaan.
Thank you, sir. Let's get a reaction from the PBI.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you to the question of the PBI member. It is important to understand that the PBI will not win this election outright, and we are honest to say that. But we will align ourselves with aggressive and progressive parties that have the interests of the people and the poor and the needy and the vulnerable at heart. What needs to happen with regard to your question, the youth, the elderly, and virtually every other citizen in this town, is that in this municipality we need to relax the policies. The problem that we're facing is that the policies are too tight in this town. And it's racist. And therefore it's investor hostile. And because it's investor hostile, we cannot draw investment into the city. And because we cannot draw investment into the city, there's no development. So we have to relax the policies so that we have more people that come to invest into the city, and we have to incentivize those investors by virtue of either discount on taxes or discount on electricity or whatever. But those investors are coming to create jobs. And that is the biggest problem that we are facing, not only in George, throughout the Western Cape at the moment. Okay. Policies are based still on the apartheid ideology, and we need to change those policies. Then secondly, I just want to respond to the issue of corruption, because this will become inherently part of the challenges of the new government. As recently as last month, the Housing Portfolio Council of the Democratic Alliance appeared in court on 12 charges of fraud and theft of the Democratic Alliance. And I can say proudly today that I stood up in council for the last 2 years. I've been begging the DA to deal with that councillor because he allegedly stole from the poor, the needy, and the most vulnerable. They refused to deal with him. They kept him in his position because they wanted to have the majority. You can go back not only to him, you can go back to officials that have been fired due to corruption and theft and bribery in this municipality. So we have to deal with those type of issues. Once we deal with those type of corrupt officials and councillors, money will become available for the development of the town.
I can respond and say that and put on record that the Democratic Alliance have responded as a party. We have responded to the allegations that have been made, to what Councillor Gericke has been referring to. And as the Democratic Alliance, I'm proud to say that there is structures in place that have been dealt with up until such a point where we have get now the outcome, and this is an indication that the DA is dealing with corruption, irrespective who you are. It's going to take time, but the DA is dealing with corruption. I would like to respond to the question of why can't the DA provide jobs. First of all, let me say this, and I want to place this on record. Yes, the DA or a local government have to make provision for its individuals and citizens within a town, looking at jobs, but that is not their core or their primarily function. Why can't we create jobs within the George municipality or within the George region? It is due to the fact that our economy is not growing fast enough.
I hear what Mr. Naik is saying, that we must give them time, but we haven't got time left. We haven't got time left. Unfortunately, the DA has got an arrogant view when it comes to this. One of the previous mayors, the chief whip that's the DA at the moment, there was a big company that wanted to come in and wanted to establish themselves here. When they asked for some discounted, when they asked to please for the municipality to help them out, the reaction was that if you want to start a business in George, you have to pay because it's an expensive place to pay. So if that is the attitude, how many people will want to come in here and say that we feel welcome to come and invest? It's impossible to invest. The capital contributions, it's the highest in South Africa, in this country.
I'm the first one to say that the DA is not perfect. I'm the first one to say that.
So you do acknowledge more can be done
let's
to revive the local economy?
Please understand what I'm saying. I'm saying there's room for improvement. And we have to sit down and look at what we currently have if we want to attract investment to George, and we have to reconsider some of our policies and bylaws. We have to do it. Right. And this is who we are. We are open to attract investment. It's not cast in stone.
We are not an investment-friendly town where people can come and invest because of our high capital contributions, where an investor must pay huge sums of money to come and develop something here. Now, the problem was we don't even have a policy how to encourage SMMEs. It's because no matter how we can shift it, the DA is there for those who have. You know, business in George is being manipulated by 6 or 7 big guys in this town, which if something happens, it needs their approval, or it's not going to happen.
For the last 16 years, the DA has divided our people very, very cleverly into between the blacks and the coloreds and the whites. And when the colored people go and vote, they tell the colored people don't vote for other parties because the ANC will be in charge, and then the black people will get the work and the black people will be that. That is the thing. They are playing our people against each other.
The biggest problem in this town is racism. And because of racism, they totally disregard the conditions of our people. Secondly, I want to just draw attention to the fact, or to the point that Mr. Naik has made about taxes, 50% from this side and 50% from the other. It's a fallacy. It's a fallacy that the DA is preaching that we on the other side, blacks and coloreds, are not paying taxes. Let me tell you that the electricity bill from Eskom for this town is 300 million rand per annum. Out of that 300 million rand, the bulk of people that buy electricity come from blacks and coloreds.
2013 het hy daar gekom, al die raadslede van die DA, tot Helen Zille, Patricia de Lille, allemaal was by 5 Rouwestraat. Hulle het niks gedoen vir die mense nie. Die mense bly in akelige omstandighede. Daar is armoede in Rousmo. Hulle het niks vir ons mense gedoen nie. En ek myself is nou nog werkloos, wat hard gewerk het vir die DA en aan niks gekom het nie, want hulle kyk net aan hulle familie en hulle vriende. Dis al wat ek wil sê.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's get a couple more questions.
Ek wil net vir die PBI vra. Aangesien hy sê hy is 'n wedergebore kind van die Here en heeltyd die Bybel aanhaal, wat het hy met sy eie hande al vir behuising gedoen? En dit wil ek sommer vir die hele paneel vra. Wat het hy self gaan doen met sy eie hande? Nie werkers nie. Elkeen self. Wat het hulle self gedoen? Ek wil graag 'n antwoord van die hele paneel hê. Wat het hulle gedoen vir behuising vir al die mense? Nie net die wites of die swartes of die alles nie, soos om huise reg te maak of enigiets. Ek wil graag 'n antwoord by elkeen hê.
My vraag is aan die ANC. Terwyl ons fight for an increase in social grants, hoekom stem hulle nie saam met ons terwyl hulle weet, terwyl hulle die vorige spreker het geweet het? Hoekom stem ons dan saam vir die increase in social grants en nie vir die decrease daarvan nie?
Thank you, sir.
Ek is Mervin Olivier, my vraag is in die ANC. Ek wil net weet, hy het gepraat van die burgemeester, maar ook die ding wat hulle gedoen het, die DA met die onderburgemeester. As ook, ek wil hê die ANC moet ook verduidelik oor die Go George storie. Wat gaan aan met die Go George? Wat se korrupsie en goed daar aangaan? Dankie.
Thank you, sir. Let's get one more question, then we have to close questions from the floor.
We want to know what the vision is of the PBI for the old people. Thank you.
I just want to know what the stance of the ANC is in as far as the clean audits that the DA claims to be getting, whilst in the same financial year, they continue to suspend their senior leaders for corruption, and they claim to be getting clean audits. But as well as, what is your position as the ANC, just to actually add on to what has been asked here? That corruption that is taking place there in the Go George, as well as why is the DA, or what are you saying, why the DA is continuously luring people to vote for it by providing them jobs? Because that is what is happening right now in our areas. They say we will give you a job only if you take membership of the DA. What is your position on that? Thank you.
Okay.
Well, the clean audits that the Devil Alliance said that we have got, it's a lie. It's a lie. As you can see, the incoming or the candidate for the DA, the mayoral candidate for DA, he said it, that they are full of corruption. So how can they have clean audits if their party is full of corruption? And when the lady was asking what did ICOSA do for housing, in the Western Cape we are the best provider of housing in the whole of the Western Cape. She's asking me what I've done. What I've done is I go to my people's houses each and every day and I assist where I can.
I've noted there's some animosity from my sister from the ACDP towards my salvation. Now it is like the olden days when whites believed that only they can be redeemed. In their eyes, we are thieves and murderers and rapists in their eyes. So it's the same stance that she's taking. In terms of the issue of housing, we do a lot. In my ministry, I do a lot. In my household, I do a lot to assist people. But housing can never be in a town where you have 20,000 people on the housing waiting list. It can never be an individual effort. It's incumbent upon any government, whether DA, ANC or wherever. It's incumbent upon that government to meet the constitutional imperative to give access to its citizens to decent housing.
We are in this mess because of the privileged who haven't built houses for our people. And the African National Congress rectified that by building 6 million houses for our people. Now coming back to the Go George. The Go George is a mess, ma'am. The intention of national government was to regulate the taxi industry, to be a fully fledged industry. But what has been done in George, the people who benefited is those who are well off. All tenders have been given to the white community. They will never change.
Mr. Nike has been taken out of Ward 1 where he was the councillor because they knew they would never elect him back again because of what the condition is of his ward. What scares me is what is George going to look like if his ward looks the way he does at the moment. And I'm saying this because at the end of the day, we're saying as the ACDP that we have to have a plan to look after our communities, our youth. Our youth are on drugs. They can't get jobs. They are growing old without parents being able to support them. And we are saying we want to establish youth centers, build youth centers in all these previously disadvantaged communities.
Thank you for the opportunity. It is quite clear that the Democratic Alliance is a threat to all the other parties around here. Quite clear. For my learned colleague next to me, Mr. Van Zyl, you're not even staying in George.
I'm not.
You're not staying in George? So I want you to please, let's tell the people what is facts. It's quite clear that you do not have all the facts.
Well, this is all the time that we had for you. We're coming to you once again from the Western Cape. George municipality is up for grabs. Thank you so much for watching. George, are you ready to decide? There you have it. Thank you for watching.